Hey, what's up everybody? In this video we're going to go over this build that I just thought up one day when I couldn't sleep. I had to go to work later that day, and I decided to try to make uh, a wizard that was something different than I've already tried. So I went through the fire build and the lightning build and the ice build, and I liked them. Fire was really powerful, ice is really defensive, lightning has a lot of AoE. But then I had all this gear built up for all of them, and then I finally got the last piece for Tal Rasha's set to make me drop meteors. And what I did notice about Tal Rasha's set was that you could drop different types of meteors all on different cooldowns. So I said, well, what the fuck? I might as well try and make a wizard that uses as many different types of damage as possible, and that's just kind of where this grew. I haven't really been working on it that long, but I did have quite a few pieces of gear that I was able to pull this off with. So let's go over just the skills first. My primary, also to go over this, I wanted to make it kind of a one button deal because Blizzard says that it's their philosophy that you don't have a one button. So I said, screw that, let's see if I can't make a one button. This is almost there, but I still have to use two skills. So my primary is Electrocute with Forked Lightning. And this is one of my favorite skills because it's just the chaining of it works great in all kinds of situations. And also with Forked Lightning, it critical hits release 4 charges, which also hit everybody else around it. Great for AoE. Gives me that fire damage that I want. My ice damage comes from Blizzard. I just put Snowbound because this build is completely not about arcane power. It's all about just being able to do whatever you want whenever you want and not have to worry about arcane power. So I use Snowbound to reduce the cost to 10 power. So I could use this on whatever, wherever I want. It regenerates fast. Finally, I have 3 conjurations. First, I have Storm Armor, which periodically shocks somebody for not very much damage, but it gets a lot better with this build. So also I went with Shocking Aspect, so the critical hits have a chance to electrocute a group of enemies for 425. So that's really powerful. Sometimes I'll get a strike and it'll just annihilate everybody right off the bat. So that's pretty good. Conjuration, I went with Magic Weapon and Electrify. So what happens is attacks have a chance to arc to 3 nearby enemies, doing more AoE damage. So there's more lightning damage, lightning, ice, fire. My familiar, I went with Arcane. I don't have too much Arcane, but I went with Cannoneer, the final familiar rune. And what this does is it fires off, every time I attack, it fires off a little fireball, but this one will explode and hit anybody within 6 yards of its target for 240 weapon damage. So that's more AoE. So this is kind of an AoE build, but then with the set items, it'll actually turn into a single target also if you could start dropping meteors on them. We'll get into that. And then finally, one of my favorites, Teleport with Wormhole. Gets you around fast, gets you out of walls, gets you out of jails. A lot of people use slow time. I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, for right now, I might change that out later on. This is only like stage 1 of my build. I want to do a lot of work on this one. And then finally, for my passive skills, I'm using Unwavering Will because Electrocute, you do have to stand there and channel it, or not really channel it, but just let it shock. So you will stand still for more than 1.5 seconds. So that will give me a boost in armor, resistance, and damage. Because I do want an all-around character, not just straight damage. I wanted also resistances, armor, is just be able to take hits while I'm standing here doing what I need to do and then teleport away if I have to. So that's a damage increase. This one's a big one for this build, Elemental Exposure. So of the 4 damages that I can do as a wizard, Arcane, Cold, Fire, and Lightning, each one of them gives a 5% buff to damage. So of course I'm doing all 4. It might take a second for a couple things to hit, because certain things don't proc this, or well, proc meteors, so I'm wondering if it procs this. Otherwise, this is a 20% damage increase right here once I start hitting everything, so that's a great boost. With this, that's 30. Cold-blooded, enemies chilled or frozen, so using Blizzard, take 10% more damage from all sources during this, so that's what was that, 20, 30, 40% damage increase. And then finally Glass Cannon. With my high defense, this works great. So that's a 55% total increase in damage right here across the board. once I get everything off with this and they're chilled, which is real easy. So that's my skill build. Now let's go to the gear that I have. So it's not the greatest gear. This is cobbled together from everything that I kind of had, and then I also found, I think, a piece that kind of finished everything off for Tal Rasha's. So let's start with Tal Rasha's. I got his helm, which I am looking for the chest so I can switch out the helm. I'm going for the Velvet Camarel, so that way my electrocute hits more people, since I already have Mycon's Ball of Hate, which makes it so that it can chain back to somebody for a second time. So that'll make a huge difference for how many enemies I could hit with a single button push. But otherwise, I have this critical hit chance, some defense. I might switch that vitality out because I already got a 20% lifer, and I'll get that up. But eventually I'll switch that out once I find the chest, and if I ever find the Velvet Camarel. And I also got the neck for that. And here's where I do even more damage. So now I'm trying to go beyond what the 4 damage types for the wizard are. And here I have just a typical intelligence, vitality, critical hit damage increase. I wish I had critical hit chance, but it's still pretty high for this build. But then I put in a gem of a legendary gem of Officius. I don't even know how to fuck. Anyways, it poisons all enemies I hit. Now anything could hit them, and it'll turn green and get poisoned for what? 220% weapon damage every second, 2200 overall. So essentially I poison everybody with this the instant that I touch them with anything. Just the smallest thing could touch them and they're poisoned. So that's damage over time. The chest, this is just a random ass chest that I got. It gives me more gold. As you can see, my gems aren't full yet. I'm working on that, but you know, tens of millions of gold, it's kind of a grind. I don't play the higher stuff. I don't have people run me through anything. This is all pretty much solo and random groups that I run into. Gloves, just the standard. The legendary does kind of help, but I never really notice it. 5 or more enemies, so if I get surrounded, it kind of helps. For this one, I didn't really. This is just something I ran into and it works. It helps me with healing. I didn't care. It doesn't matter to me about the thorns. I'm sure it doesn't do that much damage, but hey, it's more damage all around, I guess. The belt, it's part of Tal Rasha's, of course, and it's just pretty much resistances, health. I do have this ring. This is a big one. I wish I had better stats, but otherwise it reduces the number of items needed to set bonuses, so that's a big one. I will change out probably my shoulders and my pants for another set item for AoE damage, or chance to do area damage, because mine's at, I believe, 66 right now, so I'll probably change those out because of this ring. So I only need 3 pieces of Tal Rasha. I'll only need 2 pieces to get a 3-piece bonus, so I'll probably be switching out maybe 1 or 2 sets. So this one's really helpful. And then focus, this had good stats on it, so I decided to roll with it. And then also I put a different legendary gem in here. Critical hits cause enemy to bleed, so there's poison and bleed damage on top of my 4. And then this one will do, what is it, like almost 500% weapon damage over every second. So with these two combined, that's about 700% weapon damage every second when I crit and just hit them. So that's you know, great dot damage for when I need to run around. This is a big one too, Thunder Fury. Since I have a chance to hit everybody, or it has a chance to hit 5 guys, it procs quite a bit too, especially the more you hit them. So since I hit them with so much crap, this procs quite a bit. It's hard to see though, it's just a thin bolt, but this does a lot of damage for me, and that helps with single target and group targets. And then pants and feet, I just got Kane's 2 set piece. Gives me an attack speed increase, which is helpful for electrocute. You want a real high attack speed to get off more attacks. Otherwise, nothing special about those. And then finally, Mycon's Ball of Hate. That's a big DPS boost for when you have less targets, say 2 targets, all the way down to 2. But once I get, if I ever get the Velvet Camarel, that'll really help. That'll really boost my overall damage, how many times I can hit things in a second. So really, attack speed increase, I did have this pretty high, but after the whole change out, it went back down to 14. Hopefully I could get that much higher. Critical hit chance, I did have this at 56. It dropped down to 40, which is still a great number. I wish I could get that up to at least 50. Critical hit damage, I'm expecting to get that over 400. I did have it at 460 with fire, I think. And that was pretty damn high. But like I said, this is not going to be a maxed out build with all the different pieces that you get. This is essentially just a cobbled together, try it out and see if it works. And I really like it. And then I get the fire, lightning, cold, and arcane damage increases from the 5-piece or 4-piece set bonus from, or 3-piece set bonus from Tal Rajas. Otherwise, toughness, damage, healing, all pretty good. And then when I put everything up, and I'm not standing still, my damage 822. Hopefully I'll get that over 1 million. Oops. Toughness 6.4 million and healing 30,000. So that's great for Torment 1. I could also do Torment 3 and 4, but I don't really care for doing the stuff that I get hit really hard, so it just makes me run around. I do like seeing how powerful I could get before moving on. So I still have, like I said, a lot of work to do. Higher gems and everything before I start moving that high. Otherwise, let's get to it and see what we can do. Let's just go to something simple like Weeping Hollow. So, also my area damage is 66%. So every time I hit something, I will, as you can see, just all kinds of crap going on with my meteors falling. And really, I'm only left clicking too. Occasionally I'll right click, you know, when there's a big wad of enemies, or you know, any tougher enemies. But all it really takes is like a single click, and most shit dies. And this is on Torment 1. It doesn't get too much worse on 3 or 4. It's just things just drop a little slower. But here's an elite pack. So whenever there's 2 enemies or more, this is devastating. And on single targets it takes a little longer, but with those bleeds and all these meteors that I'm dropping, which get hit for like 30 million on the bigger ones, you drop a couple of those and things stop pretty quick. So this is a great build. I highly recommend doing it, but it is very hard to get all the pieces for it. I mean, I'm still working on, I don't even know how long it's going to take me to get everything where I want it, and then also gem everything and enchant everything up higher. But the nice thing about this build is, you know, I could find something and change it out. Instead of looking for that one piece, I could find, you know, set items and completely rework the build. But as you can see, there's a lot of random damage. So the groups will just get smoked in one click. Like huge groups. And then other times, you know, they'll just kind of whittle away at them. But it's not too random. But as you can see, there's just so much shit flies around the screen. You got meteors dropping. It gets real hectic in multiplayer games because they got their shit going. Then on top of that, you got all your stuff falling from the sky and zapping and lightning bolts flying across the ground. But otherwise, this is the first video, and I find this build pretty fucking insane, just for how simple it is. So that was one click right there, and everything just fucking got electrocuted. But it's great for farming. Usually I'll switch up the legendary gems for gold, so I could get more gold for the legendary, or the highest gems for the most damage and everything. Like I said, I'm at a point where it's going to cost me at least 20-30 million more gold, but that's all fine. I got plenty of time. But everything tied together really wipes everything out, especially with that area damage too, when that procs. But I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that's pretty much it for now. I'll update this when I get better gear and see how we're going with it, where my stats and everything are at. So make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching Dreads Escape.